discuss our identities, who we think we are, who we so rightly know we are. If I were to ask you, who are you? Now, the common answers that must be popping up in your mind would be, yes, I'm a person, or I'm a human being, or I'm my body, and I have a body, and I have a mind, and I have a personality, and maybe you have a collection of thoughts and memories about past experiences. And it also could be you define yourself by your personality traits. On a more materialistic level, some people even define themselves by what the things they own. If you own an iPhone, you say, I'm an iPhone owner. If you own a big bungalow, you say, I own a bungalow. But does that define you? Have you ever inquired into your true nature beyond conditioning, beyond what you've been told? Have you inquired into your true nature pertaining to your personal experience? You know, if I ask people, I'll give you a couple common examples. If I ask them, who are you? They'll say, well, I'm a person, I'm a human being. A little more spiritually inclined people would say, I'm a soul. But then you gotta ask them, where is the soul? Have you experienced the soul? Can you point in a direction as to where the soul is? And, you know, it could be an answer that you say, yes, well, my soul is in my body. My soul is what is making me alive. It's a good thing. It's better than thinking that you're the body, of course. But you see, it's no different than being a body or saying you're a soul. The moment you say or conceptualize your identity as an individual or as a person, as an entity, as an individualized entity going through life, you come from a dualistic belief, and it's very simple to verify. Right now, if I were to ask you, in your experience right now, you would say, if I were to ask you, point me to the you, and then show me the not you, you'd say, okay, well, me and everything around me is not me. It's a commonly held belief. But you see, it's a belief. But see, most people aren't ready to accept who they really are because they've held this belief for so long. They've all their lives they've thought, I'm a person living life. You see, in a way, it's like you're separated from life. You're an individual going through life, which for some reason exists outside of you. In other words, it could be like you say that you're the subject and everything else is the object. Now, there's no problems in that. There's no problems anywhere, as long as you're happy, you're satisfied. But we rarely see that. Why is that? Are we missing something? I would like to discuss the three concepts perpetrated by Buddha. He used to teach the no self, impermanence, and suffering. One point I'd like to clarify: suffering does not mean bad experiences or pain. And I'll get that to a minute, but let me explain a little bit. As we all know, Buddha wanted to eliminate suffering from our human condition. By the time we grow up, we're told, and it's reinforced by our parents, by society, and by experience, relative experience. People call us by a name, and we identify with that name and that personality or the behavior traits that we have, which is completely fine. We go through life adopting beliefs, constantly modifying the concept of who we are, like adding layers to an onion. But then why do people turn into spirituality, or why do people go towards religion? Why is there a feeling of lack of connection, or lack of anything? If someone's not spiritual, or even if they're fulfilled, they still feel a lack, maybe material lack. You know, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough clothes. It could be anything. I don't have enough good experiences. So coming back to the three ideas by Buddha, suffering is a state where you're not okay with your current present moment experience. Suffering is that when you define yourself as a concept. Suffering is when you look for fulfillment in the past or the future. Your mind tells you, well, right now is not okay, and maybe if I get that, then I'll be okay. So you see, you're rejecting the moment for what it is. You're trying to get somewhere. That's how our lives are. We're always trying to get somewhere. Desires never end. I've come to the realization that desire is the end of happiness. There's this word, and it's a beautiful sounding word, equanimity. What that means is your mental state, or happiness, or peace, or fulfillment is not dependent upon the nature of your experience. You see, we're always trying to escape or avoid bad experiences, trying to be secure, trying to be certain about things in our lives. And we're always attached to the good things. We can't let them go to the point where we squeeze the life out of them. Why is it that we do that? Well, there's this idea, as I said, it's because of the wrong identification. You see, you've had the experience of growing up in life. You've gone through different stages, and everything has changed. Your personality, your behavior, your thoughts, your emotions, your your perceptions. Things are different all the time. This is what Buddha meant by impermanence. Nothing in experience is permanent. It can never be permanent. It never is, it never was. So the moment we think of ourselves as, I'm a soul living a human life, or I'm a human being living a human life, as long as there's a schism in identifying yourself and defining yourself as a concept, as a collection of personality traits or thoughts, then you're always going to be chasing the future or constantly living in the past for fulfillment. You'll be like, oh, remember the good times? Or you will be like, oh, I must constantly, get there. I'll give you an example. Maybe you can relate to this. You're born and it's common sense. You go to school, kindergarten, then you go to preschool, you go to middle school, then you're told that you must go to high school. You go to high school. Then you're told that you must go to college. You go to college. Then maybe you go to grad school. Then maybe you look forward to that internship. There's always this end goal that we're searching all the time. That once we get there, life is going to be awesome. We're always looking for that, the state where we're finally happy. And then after college, after a job, it's promotions, promotions, promotions. Maybe you turn 40 years old and, by societal standards, you're like, okay, I have it. I have the money. I have the car. I have my spouse. I have a house. I have a family life. I have the life. I'm living the dream. But then you kind of feel cheated because you felt the same since you were born. It's kind of a hoax that we get played into. Just how a symphony is. In an orchestral symphony, there's an end. The end is that clap. And we go through lives constantly, searching for that. And what happens is we miss out on the beautiful symphony. We constantly think that, there's this moment where life will be cool. But what happens is, you spend time constantly chasing things. It could be anything, as I said. It could be material things. I'm not necessarily saying you're searching for material things. It could be spiritual things. Maybe you're searching for God all the time, all your life. Maybe you're searching for enlightenment. Anything in the concept, anything in the future. That's not to say the future doesn't exist. It doesn't exist right now. It'll only exist when it comes. So, one must inquire as to who I am in this crazy roller coaster feeling like thing called life. Because, from personal experience, you can say you've had good experiences, bad experiences. You've cried, you've laughed, you've loved. Those things come and go. None of those are permanent. But then what was that was permanent? Was that thing that observed all these passing things an individual person? No. If I were to ask you again, who are you? Do you still identify with your personality? Because everything, if it's impermanent, how can a personality be static? Unless you make it static, unless you live life as if you are that personality. Now, there's no denying the fact that yes, the world exists. Yes, there's a mind and there's a body and we have thoughts and emotions. But the problem is that we limit our identity to an individual self. It's just a body. That's who I am. And I have my feelings and my memories and my dreams and my goals and my thoughts and my pains and my pleasures. We own everything that's related to this body, but everything else, which is a world outside of this body, doesn't matter to us. You see, this kind of thinking is what causes unfulfillment, is what causes people to go towards religion or philosophy or spirituality or anything. Because there's always a yearning for connectedness. who we are. Life happens only in the present moment experience. You can never escape the present moment experience. Life happens in the now. Only the experiences change. The body changes, people come and go, memories change, everything changes. But the knowing of those experiences doesn't change. And that knowing doesn't come from your mind or your body at all. You, you have to think, you have to really, go into your personal experience. Don't take my words for it. If you see, as I said in the previous video, life happens in the now. Now is this friend that's always been with you in all this impermanence. Could it be, just for a second, could it be who you are is your present moment experience? Not just your body. It includes your body, it's inclusive, but not limited. You are what you're seeing, what you're hearing, your sense perceptions, the so-called the world that is outside of you in your present moment experience is actually you. There is only one present moment. We can't say that, there's separate present moments in different people's lives. No, everyone's experiences happen in the now. Now can't be objectified or known as you know your name or an object because you exist in the now. Maybe you are the now. Let's compare this to a knife. Just how a knife can't cut itself, fire can't burn itself. Let's for a second believe that we're this screen, and let's not name that screen. Even screen is a clumsy word, but just for the sake of the argument, let's say there's this screen on which the movie of life appears. There's a hero, there's a villain, there's good times and bad times. There's a beginning and there's the end. But what happens in the movie, does it affect the screen? It can't. But the movie can't exist without the screen. But the screen has always been there, regardless of the movie being played or not. I invite you, just for today, like a little practice, if you will. Go out, do your stuff, go through life, what you gotta do, your job, family, whatever. And kind of approach it with a search of what it is that is same in all these changing phenomena, including your thoughts, feelings, emotions, people, places, locations, time, and space. And you'll find that there is something, and it's very simple, and that this something is related or is found out when you're completely aware of your present moment experience. That this something hasn't left you ever since you were a kid, and this thing does not exist separate from you. So in the end, maybe you'll come to an understanding that what you were looking for in external objects or experiences, as if, let's say, I want a job or I want I want kids, or I want a hot wife, or I want a car, or I want enlightenment, you'll notice that the the seeker was seeking itself outside of itself, which was impossible. So in a way, your seeking will end, and when the seeking ends, there is freedom. A NASA scientist, Tom Campbell, said this beautiful line, and you can YouTube search him. Great man. He published a book called My Big Toe. Toe as in theory of everything. He kind of puts a scientific perspective on reality and life. But you know what he said? He said the point of life is living gracefully with uncertainty. Well, you know we can't do that because we're told, we're conditioned. You know, how can you live without uncertainty? You know, you'll end up on the streets. You'll die. There's so much fear. But you see, when you were a kid, you lived like that. You lived gracefully with uncertainty. You had no idea about what you're going to do tomorrow or the past, and life was free and happy and spontaneous, and there was equanimity. It didn't matter what was going on because you were so immersed in the experience. You were the experience. You became one with the experience. Is this pointing somewhere? Are we going somewhere with this? Maybe we are. If if you feel that there's some kind of resonance with the words that I'm speaking in terms of your life experience, then do this search. Try to look for the thing that stays the same. And you know, this can be approached in a better way too, in the sense that there is a universe and we're in it. There's a now moment. We're in it. So, if we exist in the universe, we have a feeling that yes, I exist, I'm aware, I'm awake. Where did the line get drawn that, you know, you exist as a separate entity? It's only in your mind. The moment that goes away, you become one with experience. In essence, how Dalai Lama has constantly joked around is saying he wanted to be one with everything. That's what he meant. He wasn't joking in that sense. What he was pointing towards, and what all religions point towards, is this. Even it's in the Bible, it says, know thyself before anything. But we don't know ourselves. We try to know everything other than ourselves. Why? In the Bible, it says, love your neighbor as you love thyself. If you look deeply into that, people in your field of awareness are you, because you are the experience. There's no separate experiencer and experienced. It's only the experience, experiencing itself. There's no duality over there. There's no beliefs over there. Experience doesn't know it's called an experience. So to think that, you know, your body mind, who's separate from your external or seemingly external objects, it's delusional. Because those things don't exist if you are not there, if you're not aware. In deep sleep, your individual self, parent individual self, does not exist. The world doesn't exist. Nothing exists. Was there an experience before birth, before you were born? No. The same way, is there an experience after death? No, because that's not an experience. Then what is heaven or hell? Heaven or hell, my interpretation of it is what you make of this beautiful symphony called life. whether you know yourself as the one, the experience, or you don't know who you are and you feel cut off and you're the world has it in for you. You got to make it through life. You got to survive. So you see, it boils down to two things. If you either you know yourself or you don't. The moment you know your true self, you taste the nature of who you are. Not only knowing who you are, but the nature of who you are. And the nature of who you are is all these virtues that connect us to each other, like compassion, empathy, forgiveness, equanimity, love. And when you don't know yourself, then one experiences competition, fear, insecurity, hatred, envy. It's a simple choice, and you can make it at any moment. It does not exist in the future. You just have to know that you are the experience, not an individual self. That's what the Buddha meant by no self. You are everything. You are your experience. How can empathy not be there if you go out into the world and if you know that you are the experience and you see someone in pain? Obviously, if your body hurts, you tend to it, right? If you see another person and you know that they're you, you're going to help them. You know, it's a beautiful sweetness that one experiences when one starts living like this. You know, you don't have to be self-centered. You don't have to have future goals. No one is judging you because everyone is you. There is only one self. If you want to call it soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it, the now. There's only, as I said, there's only one now moment. There aren't multiple now moments. There's no objective world out there apart from you, which is the now moment. So in the upcoming videos, let's explore more into this, the details, the nitty-gritties, because I feel that most people, when they hear what I'm saying right now, will have like a dozen questions coming up. And let's explore that. Let's try and let go of our beliefs. Take a deep breath. Be aware of everything, of the sounds of your body, of things outside of your body.